everybody. Welcome to another edition of Jays Talkin. Matt and Andrew here to bring some baseball talk from our living rooms to yours. Make sure you click the subscribe button. If you don't already follow us on social media, be sure to go follow us at Dunedin Blue Jays on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, just a reminder, the Band Together Against Hunger food drive is still going on the whole month of May. For every $10 donated to Dunedin Cares through our link in the month of May, the Dunedin Blue Jays will provide a ticket to a future Dunedin Blue Jays home game to a local essential worker. You not only help out a great cause with Dunedin Cares, but you also help out all of our essential workers during this trying time. Go to our social to find the link. Let's get $10,000 for Dunedin Cares. On to some baseball talk. Today's guest is 2015 24th round pick. His teammates say he can run like a gazelle. Kennesaw, Georgia's very own Reggie Pruitt. Reggie, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here with us today, man. What's been going on in quarantine? You in Georgia?
Yeah, I'm back home with my family, my dad, my little brother and sister, and my mom. We're all here just hanging out, just trying to stay safe during these trying times.
What have you been missing most about the game of baseball in your time away from it?
I guess you never realize, like, because I kind of get the compete factor in like everything I do, but I guess like just being around the guys, because the way I see it is you got a bunch of different people from everywhere around the world that make one team, and just like that team unity and being around the guys is probably what I miss the most, because you can't really do that in everyday life, I feel like, for me personally. But that's probably what I'm missing the most, is just being around baseball people every day.
And that was a wild clubhouse last year, so I know that you miss being in the clubhouse with all those guys from the 19 Blue Jays, huh?
Yeah, we had a great cast of guys, and I think that's why it made us so good at the same time.
So you're born in Kennesaw, Georgia. Who were you looking up to as a kid when you're just first starting off to play baseball?
Oh, well, my answer would be, and probably a lot of Georgians probably would hate me for saying this, but in baseball, I looked up to Ryan Howard. He was my favorite player growing up. And I really couldn't tell you the origin of me becoming a Phillies fan also, but I was just a Ryan Howard. Like, I loved playing with him on the video game. I just loved how he played. He was a home run guy. And, yeah, Ryan Howard was my guy that I definitely looked up to growing up.
Dude, he used to hit tanks. I loved watching all those home run derbies with Ryan Howard. Dude used to just drop nukes all over the place.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so he was definitely my guy growing up. And a couple of guys on that team I always looked up to, like Jimmy Rollins, Shane Victorino. I looked up to those guys when I was growing up younger.
I was a speed guy like you. Get a favorite player like Ryan Howard.
I guess it's just like part of my personality, because even in the game, like, I know I'm a speed guy. I know what kind of player I am, but at the end of the day, I want to be like Ryan Howard. I would go up there and hit tanks, hit the walk-off home run and stuff like that. So I guess that's what kind of attracted me to him and made me kind of look up to him.
When did you first start playing baseball? When did you first pick up a bat and swing it around the backyard or throwing a ball around the backyard, man?
Oh, probably pretty young. Whatever age you start T-ball at, that's when I started. And it wasn't really, I really didn't know I loved baseball until I was about 14. But I would probably say about 4 or 5 years old is when I started playing T-ball and stuff.
And we're all dying to know, where does the speed come from? Where's the speed of Reggie Pruitt come from, man?
You guys are going to get me in trouble with this question. I'm going to go off the record and say my dad. But on the record, I'm going to have to say my mom, because there's definitely been some arguments in this house over where all the speed and athleticism comes from. So on the record, I'll say my mom.
Are your siblings just as athletic as you are?
Oh, yeah. My little brother is a beast on the football field, and my little sister plays soccer, volleyball. I think she's just playing soccer. Oh, she does gymnastics, but they're all super athletic. And I think my little sister may end up being the best athlete in the family. I don't know yet, but it's a hot take for right now.
So they're playing all these different sports. Did you have any different sports that you were playing when you were growing up outside of baseball?
Yeah, I mean, I played I guess you could say the big three. I played baseball, football, basketball. I'd like to say I'm good at basketball, but I probably wasn't the best at basketball, but I loved playing it. And football too. Football was probably, if I wanted to play a sport, and I wasn't playing baseball, I would probably be playing football right now because football is definitely pretty close to me as well.
We had a lot of guys on that Dunedin team that played basketball. I think
Oh,
Nick
we could have made
Bosco,
it of a basketball team
Nick
from
Bosco and Ryan Noda were two
yeah,
guys.
and a guy that nobody knows that can actually really play basketball, Brody Rodning. He may not have been on that team. Brody Rodning can play basketball, dude.
So you went to Kennesaw Mountain High School. Were you always an outfielder growing up, or did you transition to outfield when you went to high school, or where were you playing?
I guess you could say I was always meant to be an outfielder, but growing up, I played all over. Shortstop, third base, was never really good at pitching, but I pitched a little bit. But when I really filtered into the outfield position, when I reached high school, probably about 16, 17 years old, and that's when I realized that that's probably the best position for me.
And center fielders, they say, are the captain out there. So you gotta you gotta have that captain mentality, man. But
yeah,
you hit 471 your junior year with 8 doubles, 4 triples, and a home run. And you had a heck of a career in high school. And you were actually committed to Vanderbilt. Was it a no-brainer decision to pass on Vandy and to go pro since they're such a high-file program?
Yeah, no, not at all. I remember that will definitely go down as one of the hardest decisions I've ever made in my life. Just because the way Tim Corbin does his job, he really makes it hard on you. He's a guy that really focuses on making you a better person first and then making you a better baseball player come second, which in tune, I understand why he has so much success because he does that. He does work that way.
So there was no regret at all, even when I believe they made the they made the final and lost that year. Was there ever a thought of maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I know the only time I ever really thought about it hard was this past year when they won it, and all those guys on that team, like that was the 2015 class, so that would have been my senior year if I would have stayed all 4 years. So that I feel like that would have been definitely pretty cool, and I would have loved to have that on my resume. But other than that, I don't really have any regrets at this point in my life.
So we've talked to a couple of guys who have been drafted out of high school. Samad was drafted out of high school, and we were asking him kind of about the draft process. But you actually had another fellow on your team, catcher Tyler Stevenson, was also taken early in the earlier rounds of that same draft. Did you guys talk about the draft process? Was it good to have somebody else kind of in the same boat as you to talk about things with?
Yeah, I think having Tyler there at Kennesaw Mountain kind of helped me with getting my career jump started as well because he had so much attention in high school. And he was a guy, too, that it was almost from my eyes, it was almost a guaranteed bet that he was going to go to Georgia Tech. And then he blew up. So every game we have scouts there, GMs there. So I think Tyler just being Tyler, one, really helped me with my career. And, yeah, it probably helped to have somebody there to go throughout the process with because, I mean, we just when we were going through it, we did everything together. So when scouts would show up and ask for us to hit BP and stuff, we would come back to the field before the game, probably around 4:30, 4 o'clock. Our coach would throw us BP. So we kind of did everything together, and it was cool to have a guy like him to go through the process with.
You're drafted out of high school. Walk us through the emotions and where you were when you got that call from the big call from the Jays.
Yeah. So I remember I was playing a game and I had just finished the game and I got a text from one of the not scouting directors, from the area scout that I guess put my name in there. And he was like, "Hey, don't play the game you're about to play. Like, we're about to draft you." And I was like, "Oh crap. Like, I just played sorry." And then I ended up, text messages came flooding in, congratulations and stuff like that. And it was kind of a surreal moment because I knew, like, at that point, I knew I was going to be able to do what I wanted to, hopefully, God willing, for the rest of my life right there.
So we're going on to year 5 of your professional career. How have you changed as a baseball player from when you were in high school to today?
I think I've gotten smarter. Definitely gotten smarter, and that's one thing you have to do as you continue in this career path. I've definitely gotten smarter, stronger, but and I've definitely just learned how to cope with situations. In high school, you could probably ask a lot of people. I was a real hothead in high school, and I've definitely felt like going through my career, I've gotten better at things like that, things that baseball players really, really need to be good at to have successful careers.
How intimidating is it as a 18-year-old going into the complex where there's guys that might be 25 that
Yeah.
are trying to get to the same place that you are?
I remember that the intimidation factor kind of hit me, and it doesn't really affect me now anymore at all. But I remember it really affected me, like my first at bat of professional baseball. And I think it was like a pinch hit in the 6th, and Cesar was my manager for this, so he could probably tell you. I swung at the first pitch was a fastball. I fouled it off, and I go, all right, I'm not late. So just don't be late on the fastball. And then I got like 3 sliders, like not even close to the plate, and I all swung at it. I swung at all of them. And after that at bat, I was like, dude, if everybody in pro ball looks like this, I'm screwed. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, but I learned how to do it. But yeah, that was definitely the most intimidating moment right there.
We've asked Samad Taylor this, and we won't give you what his answer was, but who do you think is faster, yourself or Samad Taylor?
I hope he answered this question right. I'm like, nothing against Samad. He's a fast dude, but I'm gonna have to go with myself. I'm gonna have to go with myself.
I believe he went with himself. So
Samad. All right. We're gonna, when this quarantine is over, we're gonna race one day, and we'll have that question answered.
I believe he said you, Desan Brown, and himself had a little competition during spring training, or maybe it's just him and Desan.
It was him and Desan. I never get into that because I know I'm fast, so I credit myself by running one of those races and accidentally losing. But no, Desan's a pretty fast dude too, so we're gonna have to definitely line that up one day. Like me, Desan, Alford, JD Davis is fast, and Chavez Young. We got and Rowe, dude. Those are some fast guys right there. So we're gonna have to get that race in one day.
I mean, we can see it a little bit just right here, but how much did it help last year with the guys in Dunedin? I mean, it was kind of like you guys were a family.
Yeah, yeah. It made everything easier. I'll tell you that, and it especially for me, since I started in Lansing, and it kind of where I kind of started where I didn't want to. So like when I got there, it was kind of like, all right, you're with your boys, like go out there and play. It was so much pressure off me to have those guys there, and that team was just the type of team where everybody's always going to get picked up. Like if you come to the field that day, and somebody will immediately notice that you're not having the best day, and you'll get picked up. So definitely those group of guys are definitely special to me.
You've had a few months to soak this in now. How cool is it to be have the second most all-time stolen bases in Lansing Lugnuts history?
I did it when it first happened. Like it probably took me like a month or so to realize like how pretty cool it was. But now it feels good. It's just that's a part of the game that a part of my game that I never want to go away because I know I can do it really well. But being on that list with some of the guys that are on that list is pretty cool.
Did you get to keep that base or?
No, I wish. That would have been sweet. That would have been sweet.
You got to find that base.
Yeah, that could have been like if I was all time, if I was on the top, I would have been like, yo, please have the base. But since I'm number 2, I'll let them keep that base.
Yeah.
So you made an amazing catch this past spring training. Can you walk us through what was going on through your mind when you made that catch, man?
Oh, okay. So I mean, I'm going to be completely honest here. When it came off the bat, because I remember, because all those games are, when you go in, your mind automatically goes to, like, just don't mess it up. Like, don't mess anything up. And I remember I was sitting there, and, like, 2 pitches before, Glaber fouled a ball back. And I was like, yo, if that ball got hit to me, I don't know what I was going to do. I'm probably going to miss it. And then the next pitch, he just squared it up right at me. And I think I broke back right, or I broke back the wrong way. And as soon as I broke back, primarily I was like, oh, yeah, this is going over my head. Like, I'm going to miss it. And then I readjusted myself, and I was like, all right, just catch the ball. So that's where the layout came from, because I was like, dude, if I don't lay out, it's probably going to tip off the end of my glove. So let me be safe and just lay out to make sure I catch this. But that was definitely a pretty cool moment in my baseball career.
And you talked about it just a little bit, but how much does it help to get into a spring training game, even if it's a little later in the game where there's not a whole lot of major leaguers in there? But how good is it to get a few reps in a spring training game?
Oh, it helps. It helps a ton, because those games are, I mean, usually the way I got in this year, usually you're in there with people that once you make it to the major leagues, you're going to be competing against these guys every day. So it really kind of shows you where you're at, what you need to get better at. So I definitely love taking advantage of those opportunities.
So how was the jump from Lansing to Dunedin halfway through the year?
I would say it was pretty easy. The only thing I had to really worry about is the higher you go up and the better competition you're facing, that the pitchers are just going to be a lot smarter. They just know how to pitch more, where in low A, 2-0 counts, you're probably going to get a fastball. In high A, 2-0 counts, you could get a curveball, a changeup. So that was the only thing I really had to worry about. But other than that, I felt like it was a pretty smooth promotion for me.
I actually just saw a video of this recently. I'm not sure if you were at the game or not, but the game in Lansing where the fireworks went off.
Oh, yeah. I think I was in center, and I think we had a rain delay, and that's why that happened, because usually that goes down right after our game, because they time it up pretty well. But I think we had like a 30-minute rain delay or something, so they were just letting fireworks rip in right field. That was pretty cool too.
When we get back to play, whenever that may be, what is Reggie Pruitt looking to improve on heading into next season?
One thing that's always going to be big for me is just being a good teammate. I can always improve on that, and my hitting, and just becoming a better overall player, and knowing how my game works and how my game fits into helping the team win games, and ultimately letting my play propel me all the way up to the big leagues.
Reggie, we want to say thank you so much for taking some time out to talk some baseball with us. Very happy to have you here today. Is there anything you'd like to say to the fans out there?
Stay safe, guys. Hopefully this will be over soon. We all miss baseball as much as you guys do, so stay safe, and hopefully we can get back out there soon and see everybody else out there soon.
Thank you so much, Reggie, for joining us today. And to all the viewers out there, we really appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next week for more Jays Talkin'. Have a good one.
Thank you, guys.